After many years of discussing what a Wizards Waverly Place revival could look like, Disney Plus and Selena Gomez have answered our calls. The first chunk of season 1 has been released on the Disney Plus, and I could not resist the urge to talk about it before the season's even complete, as long with all of the apparent cast drama that's come with it, and the trillions of continuity errors, as the delicate wizard lore breaks down even further. As the man who has talked about Wizards of Waverly Place more than I believe anyone else on YouTube, besides them, I'm here to ask, is this a faithful revitalization of the series, or a cash grab lacking the original's heart with little of the initial creative team involved? Let's look at the first 9 episodes and find out for ourselves. As all the press materials indicated, Wizards Beyond Waverly Place follows Alex's brother Justin, with his wife and family living in Staten Island. Justin has given up wizarding entirely as the story begins, until Alex brings in a new powerful wizard named Billy, who Justin has to train. Very Luke Skywalker's abandoned the Force but has to teach Rey. My biggest concern with this premise going in was how could you possibly justify Justin giving up his position as the headmaster of WizTech? As a refresher, in the final episode of that series, after Alex becomes the family wizard, the powerful Professor Crumbs pulls Justin aside and gives him his powers, appointing him the new leader of that institution and allowing him to keep his wizard abilities. So, the idea of stripping away that character's happy ending did not sit right with me. It's also a trope in legacy sequels that audiences seem to be generally tiring of. So, let's see how the pilot handles this, shall we? Episode 1. Everything is not what it seems. Justin's sons Roman and Milo are tired of sharing a room. Roman is a little stickler nerd, and Milo is a goofy little guy who's afraid of monsters. Tensions are raised when a girl claiming to be a wizard walks out of the mirror in front of Milo, something which Roman doesn't believe him about at all. Guys, it's David Henrie! It's David Henrie from Wizards of Waverly Place!
Hey there, good looking. Why, yes, it is my birthday today. Oh, you think the J-Man still got it?
He's cringe, let's kill him. And here is his wife, Giada. I constantly see 2 criticisms leveled at Giada. One is people saying, why'd they recast Harper? This is not Harper. In fact, Harper completely got over her crush on Justin in the season 3 episode Moving On, which was one of my favorite stories that show did. And the feelings never returned in season 4. Justin never liked Harper back, outside of one-off stories with specific circumstances like Cupid shooting Justin with an arrow. Though I can obviously see the confusion given they're similarly built gender women. The second complaint, from far more powerful, educated wizard fans, is what happened to Juliet? Near the end of the original series, Justin's vampire girlfriend Juliet was resurrected without any real explanation whatsoever, so that they could end up together. And the end of the series is a happy couple. Now she's gone. The obvious real-world answer is that you're not gonna give Bridget Mendler back for a main role in a children's sitcom right now. Kai Cenat couldn't even get her for like an hour in his Good Luck Charlie stream.
Charlie?
Pleasure to meet you, bro.
Charlie?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Charlie, no, I knew you were like,
Nice to meet you.
That's the same person.
Yeah.
Charlie!
To do this, just as Raising a Family story definitely needed a new wife, and thus we get Giada. I do wonder if they'll actually explain what happened to Juliet. Justin doesn't seem to have lost his powers, which is confusing, as we'll discuss soon, so I don't think there were magical rules that barred Justin and Juliet from being together. They probably just broke up at some point, and it's not that interesting.
Choose a reoccurring character who should guest star on Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. I gotta say, I think it would be very funny to have my ex-girlfriend
That's
on.
what I was thinking. So, you know, I want like a rivalry between you two.
Your ex-girlfriend is a vampire? I think that'd be a funny
Like
one.
with Giada.
I
and
think I
Juliet.
would make her lasagna and she could join us for dinner.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
Can we?
I like it.
Back to the plot, the entire family forgets Justin's birthday. Justin is the 4th member of the original main cast to have their birthday celebrated, leaving only Max and Alex without dedicated birthday episodes. Speaking of, guys, it's Selena Gomez! It's Selena Gomez from Only Murders in the Building, and she still plays Alex Russo just as well as she did 15 years ago.
I wasn't using magic.
We also get an amazing reference to what Alex and Justin's little brother Max has been up to.
So you're the guy who owns all the sandwich shops, like the billionaire?
No, that would be Max.
This genuinely makes me so happy. It's an absolutely perfect fate for him, having wound up getting the family sub shop at the series end. And keep in mind, this man, as a child, apparently made the world's most perfect sandwich ever until Alex's McRary Time Rary spell continued to mess it up over and over and over. So to see someone as kind and quirky and sweet as Max become a billionaire makes me happy and proud of him. That's the American dream. After Alex gets Justin's son some Wizard merch, he pulls her aside to reveal he still hasn't told his family about his past.
You're still lying to your family, Justin? I'm so proud of you.
Justin reveals that he hasn't picked up a wand since he was fired from WizTech after an ominous unicorn incident. Revealing Justin didn't simply choose to give up wizardry. His position was taken from him and the guilt/shame kind of crushed him. That works extremely well for Justin. Justin is someone who is super used to succeeding and he doesn't take failure well.
So you're ashamed of being a wizard?
No. A failure.
I'm on board with how the characters progressed from the last show's ending to the new status quo, and pleasantly surprised by how it doesn't break the characters. Even though Wizards is certainly a show I'm super fond of, I don't think I'm like invested enough to be upset about the happy ending being taken away, you know? It's not the kind of show I resonate with as an adult in that way.
What exactly does your family think I do for a living?
Professional dog walker.
I want to be offended, but I do love dogs. So.
Yes, she does. Alex, meanwhile, works at a wizarding entity known as the Tribunal.
Works great. I'm on the tribunal now.
You're on the tribunal?
There's a dog walking tribunal?
I love the idea of Alex, who won Wizard of the Year, who is slowly becoming more responsible across the series, evolving to be some sort of super responsible authority in the wizarding world. It's one of those things that just feels right. I love knowing that our character evolved and grew and matured off screen rather than feeling like the exact same person all these years later. I don't believe the Tribunal was ever mentioned in the original series. I'm not sure how another governing body can coexist with the Wizard Council and the Crystals of Justice, who already sort of contradicted each other. Billy wants to convince Roman and Milo she's a wizard because she's frustrated Roman doesn't believe her. She decides to summon an actual monster in the closet, a girl versus monster-ass creature called a Floogie, which starts running amok in the house. Billy has been kicked out of countless wizard schools, and Alex is clearly trying to convince Justin to start training her. That is until the Floogie freezes Giada, followed by Milo. Justin hides his wife from the kids, while the kids hide Milo from Justin. Justin decides he'd be willing to pick up teaching again after reflecting on the boring mediocrity of his life, and this culminates when Billy, Alex, and Justin face the Floogie. Alex gets frozen as well, and Justin has to teach Billy a spell to vanquish the Floogie back from where it came.
You do it.
I can't do it.
But Alex said you're the best she's ever known.
Would have been nice to hear that from her. Listen to me. You have to do this, okay? Only you can.
He insists that only she can do it, and that made me assume that Justin lost his powers like his father Jerry in the original series. But then he gets his wand back later and does magic with it in subsequent episodes. So Justin has not lost his powers, and that's definitely a little strange for me. I can only guess that him saying, only you can do it, was a lie to encourage/motivate her. Either that, or he's still working through his emotional baggage in this moment and is relying on a 12-year-old to overcome her emotional baggage because he can't. In which case, I would argue he's not making a great first splash as a teacher.
Wait, did you let yourself get frozen on purpose so I'd have to step in and instruct her, thus rediscovering my love of teaching?
That would have been a really smart plan.
Well, and I don't know if you did or you didn't.
And that's just the way I want it.
Alex and Justin bring Billy into the Russo family lair from the OG show, which is way more of an emphasis on purple and blue lighting this time around. As Alex leaves, she warns Justin of a dangerous prophecy that Billy will be needed to save the world, and Justin prepares to get started. I still think aging the show up would have made more sense as an approach, but it just wasn't going to happen. Disney was never going to do the iCarly approach. We were only going to get another Raven's Home unless something radically changed at the company. Something I do find strange is this sort of marketing tagline of, this is for the original fans to show their kids. The show's not that old. Like, clearly this is an oversimplification, but it premieres in 2008 and aired until 2013. Let's say that its fans were ages 5 to 12, plenty of whom aged out of the show while it was airing. That would mean that its oldest fans are about 28 now, and its youngest fans are about 16. Those fans would then need to have kids who are 5 to 12 years old, meaning they'd have needed to become parents from ages 11 to 23. Like, in broad strokes, I don't see too many people in the 16 to 28-year-old age bracket who have elementary school children right now. Some people who watch the show as children are still children. I don't think this is a case of them waiting until the exact proper time to extend this show to the next generation. I think this is just when Henrie and Selena Gomez wanted to reprise their roles again. Hey. Save me, random ad read. Save me, random ad read! Are you tired of people asking you questions and interacting with you all the time? Yes! Then invest in a pair of Raycon earbuds! They go into your ears and they look like this. Raycon ejects premium audio into your ear canal. 32-hour battery life will serenade your malleus. Your semicircular canals will cherish the multi-point connectivity that lets you pair two devices at once. The sound waves will vibrate down through your spinal cord into your spermatic fascia, and everyone will be happy. Active noise cancellation lets you blatantly ignore all of your friends in their hours of need.
I just feel so alone in this relationship. It feels like you don't even hear me.
The only reason I'd ever take them out of my ears is to put them in their protective case with a unique design and wireless charging, but then I have to be alone with my thoughts and reconcile with my sins.
Now I get to ignore the consequences of that family I ran over with my car. Remember when that baby splattered on the windshield? I don't even have to think about it because I have music playing.
It's time to save big for Black Friday! They named an entire holiday after Transformers Animated Season 2 Episode 10. Go to buyraycon.com/Kian today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/Kian.
I hear him. He's in my ears. He's in my mind.
The show's theme song is sauceless. I hate to be the one to break the news to you, but it's just like them standing as it pans through a bunch of mirrors. Compare that to the original where everyone's like running around and is telling a little story as Alex gets ready for a day at school. To be fair, the show's season 4 theme song was pretty sauceless as well. And I almost liked the season 1 of Beyond better than season 4 of the original, but season 1 of the original totals, clears, its peak. This one's mid. Oh my god, look at Max's legs. I've never noticed that before. Here's something I found fascinating. When the show was first announced, original series creator Todd J. Greenwald seemed very upset by it, going a rant on his Instagram story and insisting on Twitter that no revival is needed in the build-up to its announcement. Now, all of a sudden, he has a created by credit, and he's shut up and seems to be the show's strongest soldier. Normally, I feel like you'd expect to see, based on characters created by Todd J. Greenwald. But to claim that Wizards Beyond Waverly Place is created by Todd J. Greenwald is crazy. Bro did not create this. The middle school Justin teaches at, Greenwald Middle School, is also named after him. So I don't know what happened, but it's immensely clear that Todd Greenwald was not involved from the beginning. And if I had to guess, I'd say he just got his name stuck on it and is getting a payday, but isn't creatively contributing. Maybe he is, I don't know. Something also distracted me while watching the series. Justin's a wizard teacher dad who's ignorant to his kids' magic antics. He's married to a tough, hot-headed wife. There's 3 kids, a rebellious teenage girl.
You were gonna sneak off to the parade and just leave your wizard homework?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't want to go.
A rule-following teenage boy who sees through the girl's schemes.
She's up to something.
Oh, I got the yearn. The yearn to learn.
Nice!
And a quirky elementary school little brother who lives in his own world.
When I was invisible, I tried out a rude hand gesture. I didn't point it at anyone, but I tried it.
We haven't met her yet, but Billy also meets a good friend at school named Winter, who's a quirky and happy loyal friend who Billy isn't always nice to.
You're really bad at that game.
I know, Winter. You want to hold the wand and I'll do the play-by-play?
Sorry.
If you're following along, they basically just recreated the original show's cast 1-to-1, and that kind of irks me. Like, sure, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It worked for 4 seasons, and it continues to work now. But on the other hand, you can't come up with anything else? I became aware of this in the first episode. The show always draws attention to how Billy is just like Alex, and Roman is just like Justin.
Rebellious and stubborn and sarcastic. She has no discipline.
Sounds like someone else I know.
Haha, like me, I get it.
How does that sound?
Like I'm hanging out with your dad.
Yeah, he is fun, isn't he?
The only big structural difference between this and the original is that the dad is now either very involved in the A plot or has a dedicated B plot, because David Henrie is positioned as a draw to the series. But in order to make him fit into the sitcom dad role, as a guy who's ignorant of his kid shenanigans until Act 2 or 3 when he catches on, Justin is now very dumb. Justin used to see through Alex a mile away, and now he basically acts like Jerry did. He's clueless, and that's the biggest functional change that makes him stop feeling like the same character.
Hey, Dad!
Hey, Dad!
Hey guys, are you wearing Milo's pants?
I suppose in this instance, it would appear that I am.
Just want to point out the good example set by your sister. She really wanted to go shopping, but instead she's right here ready to learn.
I think we're all gonna learn something real soon.
Alex, I'm very proud of you. So proud that I'm going to give you permission to miss today's lesson and go to that sale. So go ahead and have fun. Seriously, go.
And Milo, how many times do I gotta tell you? Figure out what you want before you open up the fridge.
I did. String cheese. That's what my fully visible top half is looking for.
Well, save some for me, because my fully visible top half will want some later.
And like, I get it. Because if Justin sees through his kid's antics from the very first second, there's no show. It's just an unfortunate characterization casualty in order for the revised story engine to function. Another shortcoming of constantly comparing a character to Alex over and over is that it draws comparison. I'd constantly find myself thinking of Billy's lines, "Man, Selena would have delivered that better."
I love your jacket. Is it dragon? I meant faux dragon. I would never wear real dragon. They're endangered. I meant not real.
And I promise that's not an insult to Janice Leanne Brown in the slightest. Insulting actual children is not the kind of thing I want to be doing here. She's funny, she's well cast, and she's able to hit a lot of the same notes on many occasions.
I have your wand.
Where are you going with this?
But Selena Gomez was a once-in-a-generation talent. And this narrative choice cast a massive, massive shadow on whoever's being painted as her successor. In general though, these kids are well cast. Max Matenko really successfully captures the same feeling as Jake D. Austin from the original Wizards. He's charming, innocent, optimistic, and he has a lot of the funniest lines from the run.
Answering your son's half invisible.
If it makes you feel any better, I like to think of us as half visible.
Alkeo Thiel is another really good find, and he's slot right in with the Disney Channel protagonist from when I was growing up. I love his sense of comedic timing and rhythm.
Could I speak to you in the kitchen real quick?
I'd love it if you would.
Normally now I'd go over the show's sets, but guess what? There are actual set tour videos on YouTube. It's my dream come true and it answers all of my questions.
So this is the principal's office and it has an actual door that leads into the school to connect those dots. Something cool about sitcom sets is they're very modular. You can like erase and start all over very quickly. So this space is very often used for a classroom.
Oh my God!
You actually need to go in and out of this thing, so you need a physical hole to go into. And then you have your bathroom door exit right here. There's a little bathroom here that we actually did dress. I don't know if we'll ever use it. We haven't yet, but we have a bathroom there. And it's really awkward when like you have multiple characters going through this mirror because you'll have like 7 people back there sometimes, and it gets a little tight.
For some reason, there's a super bizarre moment where they abruptly trim out a reference to Raven's home in this professionally released video.
I've worked with these executive producers before. They have crazy imaginations.
I don't know why they did that. It's super interesting to see how much green screen technology and lighting technology has improved in the last 20 years. There are scenes where the characters are walking on a green screen to simulate them being outside, and it looks pretty damn convincing. It helps the show escape that claustrophobic soundstage feeling that so many of these Disney sitcoms suffer from. They use green screen really well, which is great because that was such an essential part of the first show. Look, it's the iconic Statue of Liberty from Wizards of Waverly Place Season 2, Episode 6. According to the diploma on the wall, Justin graduated from university in 2006, before Wizards even debuted. That doesn't make a lick of sense, I tell you. The interconnected Disney Channel universe basically locks the show into occurring in the years it came out. Justin graduated high school at the end of season 3 in 2011. By that logic, he should have graduated college in 2015? Was he even going to college as the headmaster of WizTech? There's also Justin's hippie doppelganger from one episode who graduated college in 2011, but I don't think he counts.
4 years ago, I used magic to create a duplicate of you and I sent him off to college.
What?
Yeah, and he's about to graduate.
What?
What?
So basically, I just saved you from like 4 more years of school.
What? What? I have to agree with Justin on this one. What? What?
The premiere says that Justin's turning 34. setting his birth year as 1990 if you assume Beyond is set in 2024. Wrong! He needs to be 18 in 2011. He's 19 when appointed headmaster. The original series timeline seems to paint Justin's birth year as 1993. Also, Roman is in middle school. 11 at least, probably more like 12 or 13, I'd guess. But let's say 11. That leaves only a 4-year window of time for Justin to leave WizTech, leave Juliet, and fall in love with Giada and give birth to Roman. I guess that's plenty of time for that to happen, but that's the timeline.
Oh, my childhood best friend, Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms.
Mr. Fuzzy Bottoms has never been mentioned before, and we've seen Justin's childhood bedroom. Here's another thing that bugs me. Heading out of the first episode, Billy moves in with Justin's family so he can train her to hone her wizard skills. The kids know Billy's a wizard, Giada doesn't know Billy's a wizard, Justin doesn't know his kids know Billy's a wizard, Justin's kids and Giada don't know Justin's a wizard. And I thought it was a super layered, interesting dynamic of cross-secretism that had so much potential to develop across the course of a series. A lot of opportunities for fun milestone episodes where the main cast gets clued into each other's secrets one by one. But to my disappointment, by the end of episode 2, everyone finds out everything. And the whole family's on the same page about wizardry going forward. This episode is just everyone untangling each other's secrets. Giada, an investigative reporter, interrogates Justin to find out where Billy's really from. Billy accidentally turns the brothers and her wand invisible and reveals that Justin's her teacher.
Or dad?
Wait, Alex is a wizard?
I know, it's shocking.
No, that's the first thing you said that makes any sense. She's way too cool to be a dog walker.
It's just such a shocking miss of potential, and I can't assume that was the plan when they wrote the premiere, right? Because why bother with all the layers of who knows what?
You think every day's gonna be like this?
Well, so far every day has.
Even Winter learns the wizard secret by the end of her first episode. It took Harper 2 seasons, and it was a super big moment when she finally found out. Billy gets her own bedroom at the end of episode 2, except a whole crux of episode 1 was Roman and Milo not wanting to share a room anymore. What were they using this empty room for before? Neither of the parents work from home, neither would need an at-home office or anything. Why were Milo and Roman forced to share a bunk bed when there was a vacant room literally across the hall from them? On that note though, there's generally fast-paced, lasting development and continuity that the previous series lacked. At the end of episode 2, a Phantomus, some smoke creature who preys on young wizards specifically like Minecraft YouTubers, sets out to track Billy. It's defeated in episode 3 and mentioned again in episode 5.
The Flugie, the erasing potion, the Phantomus.
Hey, that last one wasn't my fault. He was following the magic that I wasn't supposed to be doing. Okay, fine. I'll give you that one.
In episode 3, the principal of Greenwald Middle School is said to be on a long vacation. In episode 5, the superintendent is mad about how long he's been gone and offers Justin the job.
I have some news about Principal Finley. He's dead.
What?
To me. Dead to me.
Magic hijinks, etc. Justin has to ride a guinea pig to get the position. And that's referenced in episode 8.
You know, you wrote a guinea pig for this job.
Then Justin is the regular principal going forward. Obviously, there was nothing like this in any of the sitcoms I watched as a kid, so it's super interesting to see how little sprinkles of continuity are now the norm.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Hey, that's from
Me. Yep, I said it, just made it up.
And with that power comes a real responsibility. I think maybe the one...
Dude, you can't just sit here and quote Spider-Man.
I also can't decide if that guinea pig story is a hat tip to the Wizards Season 1 episode where Alex turns their parents into guinea pigs. I think that's obscure enough of a story that it could be a complete coincidence. But that being said, there are so many references to the events/spells of the original show, like Cerebellum Erasus from Season 1, Episode 15.
Cerebellum Erasus.
Cerebellum Erasus.
Or Edgebano Utusis from the very first episode.
Edgebano Utusis. Edgebano Utusis.
They even referenced the Season 3 storyline where Justin was a monster hunter.
There is no such thing as monsters, and I should know, because I was not a monster hunter when I was your age.
Gianna's news channel is WWP News, which is the acronym of Wizards of Waverly Place.
I'm here from WOWP News.
There's also a magical lamp in the lair, but it does not seem to be the same one from the first show. The wizarding world continues to operate on this beautiful, absent logic, and is just as stupid as the first time around.
Someone from the Ministry of Education is coming, and I have to pick her up at the airport. She's already at the gate.
Wait, a wizard is flying on an airplane?
Have you ever flown in from Newark on a magic carpet? It's like Rugburn City.
Selena Gomez is also name-dropped as a real person here.
She's so cool, Selena Gomez follows her.
That means that in this universe, there are 5 identical-looking women named Gwen from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Michaela from Hannah Montana, Alexa from the Arwen pilot, Alex from Wizards of Waverly Place, and Selena Gomez. Episode 7 reintroduces Jerry Russo.
I'm Jerry.
Who's now working as an operator as a wizard call center in his retirement, which is a super fun role for him and allows him to exist in a capacity beyond just that grandpa. David DeLuise has not missed a beat, and he settles into the role like he never left it.
Justin!
Dad! What are you doing here?
Well, your mother took up tennis, and apparently I'm not very good at it. And now I'm here at the Spellblind.
He feels a bit smarter and sharper than he had degraded to become by the end of season 4, more akin to his personality at the beginning of the series.
Why didn't you tell me? Well, I mean, when you left WizTech, we kind of stopped talking about wizard stuff.
I know. I was done with it. Until a couple of weeks ago when
You got Alex.
I got Alex.
But more importantly, they're also introducing new concepts at a mile a minute, far more frequently than referencing past magic. You've got messenger frogs, Gristletoe, a wizard pranking website with shrink boxes and muscle suits, or the island prison of Wizcatraz.
In the island prison of Wizcatraz. The island prison of Wizcatraz. The island prison of Wizcatraz.
Guys, you can just say Wizcatraz. We all know it's an island at this point.
Stories function much the same as they used to. A clever, creative, charming magical concept gets introduced at the top of the episode, and Billy chooses to use it irresponsibly. Then Justin has to help resolve the situation. Like a follower spell, which Billy uses to gain social media followers, only to turn all of the hauntingly silent extras into mindless zombies trying to rip her apart in one of those "'cause you be on that phone" episodes. I think my absolute favorite magical item the show introduces is called a power glass, which Roman and Billy flip, which gives Roman her powers until the sand all falls. It's cute, it's clever. The amount of creativity on display absolutely rivals the first show. Although I will say, the original show's 4th season introduced wands for mortals and gave Harper a wand for a bit. An absolutely insane buff to the mortal power set. And I'm willing to genuinely believe that this show's creative team does not know it exists, because that is a bit obscure. The same goes for Merlin's hat, a mystical relic which gave Jerry wizard powers for one day. Alex went on an insane quest to find this, apparently not knowing that a power glass is a casual household object. The show introduces a holographic encyclopedia called Wizardpedia, which despite not being mentioned in the original show, has apparently been helping young wizards since the Renaissance, which I think is the earliest wizardry has been mentioned to exist in this universe.
I once chuckled during the Renaissance.
He's also played by Patrick Bristow, who is Patrick the Waiter in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Wizardpedia also mentions that his cousin is Amazon's Alexa, which is an absolutely amazing lore implication that I just do not understand. Oh, it's so good.
Let's prank call my cousin Alexa. She is so annoying. She thinks she knows everything.
For some reason, I don't think they ever do magic without a wand in this show, which is weird because I feel like the majority of the time in the original show they didn't use their wands at all. I'm not really sure what that's about. At a certain point, it's almost kind of funny, because how could we have never heard of young wizard hunting phantomuses across 4 seasons of the original show, even after Alex was named Wizard of the Year? Across like 9 Halloween episodes, how could we have never heard about Wizard Halloween or Pumpkin Belly, a monster who runs around on Halloween night eating children?
You've never heard of Pumpkin Belly?
No, I haven't, and I watched 98 episodes.
I'm giving you mortals the best Wizard Halloween ever. We're gonna go build gingerbread coffins, bob for eels, decorate for Pumpkin Belly.
Oh, I get it. Wizard Halloween is like Mortal Christmas.
No. Mortal Christmas is like Wizard Halloween.
The inside of Pumpkin Belly is the cutest, cheapest set, and it reminds me of the Genie's bottle from season 1. I think it's more charming there because of the lack of HD resolution, but it's still just very goofy. All this to say, this feels like the same universe, but it's a universe that will continue to expand and probably break down in logic even further as it goes, which I can't wait for. Case in point, there are 2 large magical sticking points I'm yet to address. In the original series, it's established on many occasions, down to being the central plot point of the movie, that wizards cannot keep their powers and stay immortal. Jerry gave up his wizard powers when he fell in love with Teresa, but the gene persisted in his sperm, I guess, giving him 3 wizard children. This wasn't some throwaway concept, this was the emotional heart of everything. This show's premise clashes very heavily with that. 1, Justin still has his powers. 2, his kids don't have powers. In fact, when Giada recaps the wizard lore, she conveniently glosses over Jerry having given up his powers.
Your dad was a wizard, but your mom wasn't. Your sister's a wizard, but your brother isn't. And you weren't supposed to be a wizard after you lost the family competition, but you got to keep your powers because you were named the youngest headmaster in the history of WizTech until you got fired.
I prefer to say got let go.
Now, with Justin, you can make some hand-wavy assumptions. Obviously, his circumstances were highly unusual in that Crumbs sacrificed his magic after Justin lost the family wizard competition. Maybe the wizarding community at large just couldn't bring themselves to rid Justin of the legendary Crumbs powers. Even though they did fire him, it definitely feels flimsy. If I had to guess, I would wager that David Henrie, as executive producer, just wanted to do magic in the show and was willing to overlook the lore. That feels like a very plausible explanation to me.
Probably one of the biggest moments in the show is when Justin gets his wand back. It's kind of like picking up your lightsaber again. It's huge. And then he taps on a brick. The brick comes out, and then he pulls this out from the wall. Probably my favorite prop.
I realized around episode 4 show that I've seen enough shows like this to know that there's gonna be some casual throwaway explanation in a line of dialogue that'll at least vaguely make sense. And that's exactly what we got for The Boys. Exactly 1 sentence in episode 9 explains why they don't have powers.
It's probably better that magical powers can skip a generation because I don't think our fragile relationship could withstand a wizard rivalry.
So, hold on. Does that mean Roman and Milo's kids could have powers? That's absolutely what it means, right? How could they train their kids to be wizards if they were never wizards? This makes the most incoherent, broken system ever even more nonsensical, and that makes me so happy. The 9th episode ends with a dark wizard impersonating a WizTech educator in an attempt to kidnap Billy. They're able to defeat her in the nick of time, and Justin calls Alex for help, who still only appeared in 1 episode as of the first batch. Milo says yapping.
Save the yapping for book club.
At the island prison of Wizcatraz, a cloaked evil mastermind kills this dark wizard for failing to capture Billy. Do you think this cloaked figure will actually be someone from the first show, or will it just be like some random guy? Who knows? So besides Alex and Jerry, who else will appear? David DeLuise confirmed his and Maria Canales-Pereira's return back in January. They appear to have taken this photo on the day of the first episode's table read, as Selena's wearing the exact same outfit, and they call me the Observer. In addition to the first episode with Jerry, it appears both of them were on set for an episode that filmed a little over 2 weeks ago. According to Wikipedia, JT Austin will appear in the season. But the source is an Instagram story where he says, "Wow, can't wait to see my Wizards family." To me, and maybe I'm insane, but that reads as him being passive-aggressive and not being invited. I could be wrong, but if you'll recall, according to a lot of public sources, he was kind of unreliable with showing up to set on The Fosters, and he was swiftly recast, then got kind of blacklisted from the industry. Now he's just like Lego Blue Beetle voice actor in a couple projects per year. Obviously, I want Max to come back. I would be very happy to be wrong. The fact they mentioned Max is certainly a good sign. Corey was never mentioned by name in Raven's Home, as I understand it, because Kyle Massey is cooked.
Coming, Daddy!
Coming, Daddy!
I guess time will tell Max's involvement in this revival, but I at least feel confident saying he is not in season 1, because this cast and crew post set photos all the time, and I stalk all of them. They finished filming season 1 about a week ago, as you can see in this huge cast and crew photo, which doesn't have Todd J. Greenwald in it, the alleged creator of Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. there is absolutely no sign that Jake Austen has been on this set. If he were in the season, they would be promoting it like they are with David and Maria. Fans want to see their beloved characters come back. The way these shows work is they go on for multiple seasons, and there's like 3 or 4 returning guest star episodes per season. They drag it out. They don't bring all the exciting characters back right at the beginning. They stretch it out to constantly drive engagement throughout the whole show. Also, I went to this pizza place the other day, and then on the wall there was a signed photo from Principal Larry Tate's actor. Let it be known that I have stepped foot in the same pizza parlor as Bill Chott. David Henrie contends that Mason is very likely to appear due to his friendship with Greg Sulkin.
Greg Sulkin is a very good friend of mine to this day, probably one of my closest friends, and he's a really good actor and he's a really nice guy. He's in London right now doing a movie, but he would come back to play a werewolf.
Oh.
He would 100% come back. And just to mess with Greg, I would have him fully costumed the entire episode. So he'd be in a full werewolf thing the entire episode, and I would have him running all the time. And just very sweaty, very hot. He'd always have like a light on him.
In this very same BuzzFeed video, he cast shade at Dan Benson, who played his best friend Zeke in the show, but has since become a full-time porn star.
Choose a reoccurring character who should guest star on Wizards Beyond Waverly Place.
Silence.
I can't believe you guys put one of these people on here.
I know. I'm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Millennials understand that.
I'm not sure what's funnier, the fact that all the kids know, or the fact that Max Matenko proceeds to choose Zeke anyway. Dan Benson responded on Twitter by saying, "David Henrie can suck my dick. I'll pay him more than they paid me for Wizards, I can tell you that." David Henrie proceeded to block Dan Benson. Dan Benson then poked fun at David Henrie's career, which has not had anything successful in it since the first Wizards. And by the way, I had to scroll past like 50 posts of public pornography to find these screenshots. His penis is fucking huge, by the way. Like, I can see why he chose to monetize that. God damn. I'd give up on acting too. There's a common misconception that Jennifer Stone could never appear in this show because she retired from acting to become a nurse. But on Wizards of Waverly Pod, starring her and David DeLuise, she's very much said that she's game to return as Harper, but she'd been pretty constantly passive-aggressive towards David Henrie on that podcast. Apparently she doesn't like him. I don't think it was obvious to her that David Henrie would be the executive producer and overseer of the revival.
Why was David Henrie skip hula dancing?
I don't know.
Do you remember that? Because he kind of was like...
I think David liked to add a lot of stuff, and I like.
But sometimes it was too much.
Yeah, sometimes
it seemed like he was adding.
Right, then it takes away sometimes, and sometimes it adds.
Yeah,
so it's different.
But this was the thing that bugged me about David when we were shooting is
him not being on the podcast with us.
Well, don't get me started on that. But no, the thing where he would add stuff just because he wanted to get the upper hand on the joke. So he would operate where he wanted to make sure he got the gag rather than feeding the story, and that drove me nuts.
Well, it's a selfish thing.
Well,
right? No, but I want everyone to know that we've asked every single person from the show to be on Wizards of Waverly Pod.
Yeah, multiple times over a long period of time.
Everybody, every single actor, every single person.
Because I've had fans that are like, well, but this is why they couldn't be on, because this was happening in their life. And I'm like, but we've asked over several long months, periods of time.
Like
so
over 6 months, you think you could make time
so it wasn't
an
because
hour
this
or
one
something?
thing was happening. So no, but good try. Yeah.
David Henrie, Jake T. Austen, we would love to have you on the show. It would be great to have you here.
So given that David Henrie seems to have a great deal of authority over who comes back and who doesn't, I'll say at the very least it'd be interesting if Harper never shows up in Beyond Waverly Place. Especially because David Henrie said to Josh Sussman they'd love to get Hugh Normus in the show. If characters like Hugh Normus and Mason come back before Max and Harper, it's very telling that it's kind of just the actors David Henrie likes being prioritized to come back rather than who makes the most sense for the show itself. When Wizards Beyond had its Hollywood red carpet premiere, JT Austen, David DeLuise, and Jennifer Stone were nowhere in sight, when far less important characters like Hugh Normus were. Dan Benson tweeted that David D and Jennifer Stone actually weren't invited, and he's someone who would know. The impression I get is that everyone had an idea of what a Wizards revival could be, but Selena was the one with the power to pull the levers, and David Henrie had the closest connection to her, and he got his vision granted. David Henrie was able to frame the show around him and revitalize his career that was seemingly being kept afloat by cameo video messages.
Thank you so much for taking a tour of my set.
But it's hard to complain because this just works incredibly well as a direction to go with the revival of Wizards. I talk ad nauseum in my Wizards retrospective about how underrated David Henrie was as the co-protagonist Justin. He was just as important to the show as Selena was as Alex. Between this cast drama and Todd J. Greenwald, it seems everything is not all sunshine and rainbows behind the scenes of the series, but none of that seems to be bleeding into the final product. And all we can really hope is that these kids are being treated well and they don't have the same insane sweatshop conditions that some of the child stars from my childhood did. I hope this is just the beginning of wonderful careers for all 4 of them. Wizards has crystallized as my favorite Disney Channel sitcom of all time, and a follow-up was absolutely inevitable. I was pleasantly surprised by how enjoyable and authentic the premiere felt to the original. It is a cast full of funny kids and charming concepts. Obviously, the lore doesn't track at all, but that lights a fire in my eyes. I enjoy that. I love thinking through the collapsing logic. It gives me something to talk about. As for when I'll cover the show next, I'm not sure. I'll probably wait for the first season to wrap before talking about it more. But until then, I'll see you in the new year. I'll do Pair of Kings because that won the Patreon poll by a large margin. Bye-bye! Be sure to subscribe to me. Merry Christmas, Patreon. Bye.